This is actually a video I've kind of wanted to make for a while. It was actually, I think, my first video idea, but, you know, when I first decided to go for this little endeavor, I was a little ambitious at the time, and thought it would be a good idea to make a video where I would have to integrate multiple clips and would want to like put in like picture in picture and all that nonsense, and like we were not there yet. We're still not there, if I'm honest, but we're gonna give it a shot. So back before the world ended and we were actually allowed to leave the house, I used to go to show tunes at my local watering hole, which I greatly miss and I hope is still there if all this ends. So one night I was there and like they started playing a song from one of my favorite movies growing up, which was Newsies. Like, it was the shit. Obviously, my extra ass, I immediately start trying to sing along to the song, which was Carrying the Banner. Like, immediately I noticed that something was different. And I realized that they were actually playing the stage production rather than the movie, which I was not really on board with. Especially like as I started listening to like the lyrics that were being sung rather than the ones that I remembered, I started to notice that they seemed to kind of have completely changed the personalities of like the boys that we're meant to be rooting for in this movie. Instead of being like these really fun-loving, like youthful, like pack of found family, like pack of brothers, they're kind of assholes to each other. Like they've kind of made them like selfish and mean-spirited, which was not really in keeping with what I remembered the characters to have been. And like this was our first introduction to like our heroes, and like that's what we're getting. Let's see if you hear the difference that I heard.
That's my cigar. You'll steal another.
Hey, bummers, we got work to do.
Since when did you become me, mother? I stop ya ballin'.
Who asked you?
That's my cigar.
You'll steal another. Hey, look, it's bath time at the zoo.
I thought that I'd surprise my mother.
If you can find her.
Who asked you?
So in the movie we're introduced to like this pack of boys that, you know, for all their hardships and turmoil, like they're still like good people. Like they're a little bit tarnished, a little rough around the edges, but they're still like fairly innocent. Like they're, it's all just gentle ribbing, the type of comments that you would make towards like your own brothers or sisters growing up. But then in the stage production, like they just, like I said before, they're just mean-spirited. There's one part in particular that really just goes like really, really harsh for what I feel is like no real reason. It's the part where, this part.
I thought that I'd surprise my mother.
If you can find her.
Who asked you?
What was the need for saying, if you can find her? Like, yes, a lot of these boys are runaways and orphans and like, but like, why reference that in particular? Like, why bring that up? Odds are, the person saying it is probably saying it from a place of hurt, but still, like, why be mean about it? Also, so they also changed what is kind of like my favorite part of the song, and it's actually the favorite part of a lot of my friends who are of a certain age, such as myself. And it's this part here.
Patrick, just give me half a cup.
Darling,
Something to wake me up.
since you
I'll sure hope the headlines hot. All I can catch is fleas. God help me if it's not. Somebody help me. If I hate the headline, I'll make up the headline and I'll say,
Turn on
Just give me half a cup.
coffee. Something to wake me up. Concrete.
I gotta find an angle.
It's getting bad out there.
Papers is all I got. It's 88 degrees. Just to change my spot. Wish I could catch a breeze. Maybe it's worth a shot.
All I can catch is
If I hate the
So in the movie, you know, the mother is heart-stricken and is like searching amongst all these, you know, lost and thrown away children for her son who's missing. And it's, you know, it's heart-wrenching. Even as a kid, even little 8-year-old Joe watching this on the Disney Channel got the emotion of what was going on. And like when I started, you know, growing older and like became the shithead that all children become at some point, and you know, we all had that thought of, I'm gonna run away, like when I thought about that, the primary thing that stopped me was actually this bit of this song, because like the thought of putting my mother through what that mother was experiencing, just I couldn't fathom it. And so like I never actually ran away as a kid, even though like I wanted to. I had an older sister. She was mean. I wanted to run away. But instead of having this beautiful, you know, heart-wrenching world-building experience, they replace it with a kid complaining about the quality of like the handouts these nuns are giving them. Like, in case you couldn't hear what he was saying, he says curdled coffee, concrete donuts sprinkled with mold, homemade biscuits, just 2 years old. So the mother, you know, Patrick, darling, since you've left me, I've come undone, is replaced with bitching about coffee and donuts. Like, they took this opportunity for the viewer to kind of wonder how many of these boys also have a mother out there looking for them. Like, how many of these boys could be at home but aren't? Why aren't they at home? Like, it helps you to think about the world a little bit more than just, hey, we're newsboys, we were treated badly, which they were. Let's go on strike, we'll form a union. Like, the overarching story, like, this one set of lines performed really beautifully, kind of planted a secondary seed in the world that is not present in the stage show, that I feel causes the show to be a little bit lacking. Like, it takes a little bit of the heart out of the show, in my opinion. So on an entirely unrelated note, there's one other thing that really bothers me about this stage show versus the movie. So in the movie, like, yes, they had a higher quantity of actors that were actors first, who had to learn the dances. You can actually see it, I think, at one of the parts in this song where Christian Bale clearly forgot the choreography or didn't want to do it and just kind of did a thing. And like, but the thing is, like, that kind of gives more character. Like, once again, it's like, it's not as polished because like these are street kids. And I understand, you know, the whole idea of a musical. Like, I was a theater kid, you know, my Miss Gilstrap out there taught us very well that, you know, the whole idea is that, you know, in the play, you are, while speaking, you feel so much emotion within yourself that words, just spoken words, cannot fully convey it. So then you start to sing, but then the emotion continues to build, and like just singing isn't enough, and so you start to dance. It's you know, even in like the most tumultuous stories, like there's still this aspect of fantasy to it, and that's fine. And, you know, I understand you have to suspend your disbelief to a certain extent. But, like, the choreography, I don't even want to say it's necessarily performances, but the choreography utilized in the movie, I feel kind of fits, like, the characters better than the choreography in the stage show. Now, this is not to malign the performers in the stage production. Like, these are very, very strong, talented athletes who are doing gorgeously crafted and, like, beautifully outlined choreography. Like, they did the damn thing and they were great. But, like, you know, anytime there's a 3 to 5 minute dance break with, you know, 5 dudes doing pirouettes while another 5 are doing aerials in the background, that kind of takes you out of the world a little. And so I wish they had kind of, sure, brush it up a bit, because, like, it's all adult actors rather than actual children. You know, these are people who have 15, 20 years of dance training, as opposed to, I was the best friend on Doogie Howser, and I'm gonna do a little shucking and jiving. But, like, you could have made it a little bit grittier, so that way it made sense that these newsboys would be doing these dances. Anyway, so, like, that's just something that's been floating around in my head for a couple months now, so I figured I'd talk about it. So yeah, take care of yourself. As is how you end a video now. Wash your hands. Wear masks. Don't leave the house if you don't have to. And take a shower.